Denzel Jake Washington, once known for his warm presence and laughter, has been living in emotional exile since the tragic death of his young daughter 3 years earlier. Every night, he cooks dinner for two, one for himself and one for the empty chair where she used to sit. His house in Billings feels like a museum of grief. The photos on the wall remain untouched. Her room remains frozen. Christmas had been her favorite holiday, but now the holiday season feels like punishment. Denzel's life has shrunk into routine and silence, where he simply exists rather than lives. On a bitter Christmas Eve night, Denzel drives through town just to avoid the suffocating quiet of his home. Outside a closed grocery store, he sees Scarlett Eva Johansson, thin and exhausted, standing with her 7-year-old twins, Ella and Aiden. They hold a cardboard sign that reads, "Need food for my children." Denzel almost drives past. He has become good at avoiding the world. But when Ella turns her face toward his headlights, something in her expression reminds him of his daughter. For the first time in years, Denzel feels something break open inside him, a pull toward someone else's pain. Denzel takes Scarlett and her children to a small, nearly empty diner called Marty's Corner, one of the few places still open. The kids devour their meals as though they haven't eaten in days. Scarlett tells a fragile, fractured version of her story. She escaped an abusive marriage, has no family left, and came to Montana after hearing there were jobs available. But everything fell apart upon arrival. Denzel pays for their meal and quietly leaves $200 beneath the plate. Just as they are leaving, he learns they are sleeping in an old car behind a church. The thought haunts him. Seeing them returning to a cold car in the dead of winter is something Denzel cannot ignore. So he makes an offer, one even he hadn't expected from himself. "Come stay at my house tonight. Just one night." Scarlett hesitates. Fear and survival instincts battle inside her, but the well-being of her kids wins. They drive to Denzel's farmhouse on the quiet outskirts of Billings. The house is warm but painfully silent. Even though they are strangers, something about the moment feels like the universe stitching broken pieces together. The next morning, Scarlett cooks breakfast, the first real breakfast the house has seen in years. Her gentle movements and the children's laughter slowly began to thaw the silence that had buried every room. Denzel notices the children exploring the home carefully, as if they sensed the sadness in the walls. Scarlett, determined to give back, cleans, organizes, cooks, and repairs what she can. A cautious rhythm forms between them. Not quite friendship, not quite dependence, but something real nonetheless. The house begins to feel like a home again, not a shrine to grief. One afternoon, Ella discovers the door to a room with lavender walls and children's toys neatly arranged and untouched. When Denzel steps in, she asks softly, "Who lived here?" He explains that the room belonged to his daughter, who passed away in a car accident. Ella listens with a maturity far beyond her years, and her presence opens a wound he has never allowed to bleed. Scarlett later comforts Denzel, sharing her own trauma from years of abuse. For the first time in a long time, Denzel cries. Not a quiet cry, but a breaking, necessary one. Ella suggests that toys should be played with, not stored away. Slowly, Denzel begins sorting through his daughter's belongings. Some toys are given to local shelters. Some are kept in memory. Ella chooses one beloved teddy bear and promises to tell him stories so he doesn't forget her. This becomes the moment Denzel realizes that moving on does not mean forgetting. It means remembering with love instead of guilt. A healing bond forms between the four of them. Fragile, delicate, but undeniably real. Scarlett finds work waitressing at a local diner and signs up for community college classes to study nursing. The twins settle into school, and the once silent house fills with drawings, music, laughter, and footsteps. Denzel begins attending grief and recovery meetings. They celebrate small victories. Tyler learns to ride a bike. Scarlett earns top marks in a class. Denzel plants a small garden with the children. Healing happens. Not all at once, not perfectly, but slowly like spring pushing through winter. In early spring, Denzel returns to his daughter's grave for the first time in 3 years, with Scarlett by his side. He apologizes, But he also thanks her for the years they had together. Instead of drowning in grief, he breathes through it. He leaves flowers, and he leaves guilt. The visit becomes the moment he finally steps out of the past. He doesn't stop loving his daughter. He simply begins loving life again. 1 year later, on Christmas Eve, the new family returns to the same grocery store parking lot. Not because they are lost, but to remember where they were found. Denzel tells the twins, "We didn't save them. We saved each other." That night, the house glows with warmth, laughter, and a new kind of love. Not romantic, but deep, chosen family love. Denzel looks around and finally realizes he is living again. He is whole, not because the cracks disappeared, but because love grew through them.